Policy, policy, policy. Policy, policy, policy. Policy, policy, policy. Policy, policy, policy.
Welcome. Still Media, William Still True Crime, and Still Spotlight Television, under the umbrella now of Still Media. We have an incredible guest with us. We're going to get right into this. This is Roger Hopefield. Roger, what in the world's going on? Tell it from point A to point B, succinctly, to the point. Let's go.
Well, you know, we always hear about that this election is going to be the most important election. This election it's way beyond that. I actually feel that it's existential in a couple of ways. It's existential regarding our sovereignty. If we're going to remain the United States of America with that rugged individuality, or if we're going to take a knee to communism and socialism. It's really that serious. You know, years ago, that would have sounded like hyperbole, and it may have been. But with what Kamala Harris and Biden, and I think Obama is the one behind the scenes, what they really have in mind, it's really that extreme. And we're just never going to get America back to the America that we know if we don't hold on to her in this election. We've got such a short runway. It was 65 days now. It's really terrible to think that normally it's 1 or 2 years where the American public gets to learn about a candidate. But now I believe they're taking advantage of the very short runway they have. They don't have to worry about us knowing everything about them because there's no time to do it. So I'm really concerned about that. And I really hope people take this election seriously. I'm concerned about the identity politics, Bill, because some of the feedback I get from the other side is so adolescent. Yeah, but it's a woman and she's black. And I'm going, I don't care if she's chartreuse.
There's no relevance in that.
There's no relevance at all. So I just really hope that America comes through and does the right thing and votes intelligently and votes for America.
Now, you've been all over the map with a very viral jingle, really an anthem that's going to be played, hopefully, at all the Trump rallies. So we want to get this out there. Policy, policy, policy. Kamala Harris cannot stand on policy. You're speaking to 10 million people right now. Tell us why that's so important.
Well, it's what we've all been thinking. And I remember thinking about this. I came up with this jingle probably a year ago. Policy, 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 because it's just got to be about policy, because the other side, they don't talk about policy. It's all identity politics and, oh, Trump's not nice and all this, and nothing is about policy. And it's got to be all about policy. And what I love about the jingle is that it's so short. What's it, 8, 9 seconds? And it does stick in your head. So I'm really hoping that it'll do some good. I hope it'll make people think twice when they vote.
So we say if you're a Republican or a conservative, share this far and wide. What else are you passionate about? Why would it be a disaster if Harris got elected? Why do we so desperately need Trump to straighten out this mess?
It's virtually on every level. First of all, there was a lot of corruption over the last 4 years and also during Trump's administration, because not many people really seem to know that Hillary was the mastermind behind this entire Russia. He calls it a hoax. A hoax sounds too nice to me. It was a frame job. And had Trump not won the election, we never would have known about that. And if we don't win this election, I think it'll be a one-party system forever with this. We need to win this election so that election integrity can be restored. One-day voting, paper ballot, exactly what he says. Everybody tries to caricaturize Trump as being so hard-edged and a lunatic. Actually, he's nothing more than basic common sense. And we really are desperate for us to win. We have to win this election just so we can at least regain the most basic things that we need, such as election integrity, to know that we can have an election that's straight.
What do you think of the courts the Democrat politicians weaponizing the justice system and the criminal justice system to go after Trump repeatedly? I mean, multiple charges, dozens of felonies, multitudes of crimes. And then the Supreme Court saying in one of the cases that he's immune, so they withdrew the prosecution only to refile it with different wording. Same basic case going forward. He still has immunity for the same incident, and they're just trying to keep him on the ropes. What do you know about this?
Well, exactly, Bill. That's why we have to win this election, because this is not America. I'm a little older than I look. I've been around. It's never seen anything remotely like this. Like with the Department of Justice, the way they behave, the FBI, the CIA, the IRS. During my entire lifetime, I always had nothing but the highest regard and respect for these agencies. And I believe that they were operating right down the middle like they were supposed to. But now, Bill, it seems like they're just doing it right out in the open, aren't they?
We have some people that, come out of those agencies that are on my shows all the time and are friends of mine. And they've said that basically the Washington field office is basically stacked with Democrat, basically operative agents that go after the political adversaries. They claim they don't, of course, but this has been widely reported that this is happening. So I want to tell the audience real quick, you are a musician, you're very renowned with some big bands and all that. And so now we have the beautiful piano behind you, and everybody has to check out his jingle, his anthem, and get that going in the rallies. I want everybody singing, policy, policy, policy.
I would go to my grave with a big smile on my face if that happened, Bill, that's for sure. But that would be kind of cool. That would be great.
I think we need to get to rallies with some kind of device, play it to get them fired up, because they're always saying the same thing. Now, what do you think of the plot on Trump's life? Where's that investigation going? Have you heard of it?
Well, yeah, it's actually kind of disheartening. And I've seen a lot what Dan Bongino has to say. He was a Secret Service agent. And thus far, I have not gotten any answers to some of the big questions. Why wasn't there anybody on the roof? And does he or does he not have foreign accounts that are encrypted, or a foreign phone account? We hear these things, but then what's the follow-up to it? And this nonsense about a motive. Well, his motive was to try to kill him. But no, I'm very disappointed thus far because to many people, and understandably, it looks like to some degree, it might have been an inside job. And if it was an inside job to some degree, how's the inside going to investigate it?
Right, because he in the polls, he's leading and he's about to take the presidency. And their policies, the Democrat policies from politicians, each and every one has been a massive failure, and they know it. The Biden crime family, if it not for the power of the pardon, would all be heading for prison, but we know he's going to pardon them on the way out. So this is a situation where myself and my other co-host, Ignacio Esteban, he's retired ATF.
Yes.
We unfortunately predicted that something like this would absolutely happen, that there would be an attempt on his life, and a few months later, here we go. So I will tell you this. I personally went to Trump International Golf Course the other night. It was just after dark, and the gates were wide open. Trump's there on a regular basis, and his home in Mar-a-Lago is a few miles away. And we wanted to do some nighttime filming at the golf course, and we're very close to some people that are on the Trump team, including Peter Tickton, one of Trump's attorneys, a dear friend of mine. He's representing Trump. So we wanted to go there and get a little bit of access. We stopped at the security gate. There was 2 security guys that were playing with their phones that weren't really paying attention. We waited and waited and waited. They never walked over to the car. They never addressed us. They never asked us why we were there. So I decided to slowly drive onto the compound. All of a sudden, in my rearview mirror, the security guard's running after me, ordering me to stop. And I did. I stopped for him. I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Stop means stop." He's yelling at me. I said, "Review your video cameras. We were stopped. We were waiting for you for a long time, and you guys were playing on your phones." They tried to end this man's life a few weeks ago, and the best you can do is leave the gates wide open and not pay attention to who's driving in here. Within a day or two, Mar-a-Lago enhanced their security big time and is blocking off the streets when he's in town. I don't know if that's the result of our easy access, just like driving on like that. And it was a property nearby, but it was still his property. And the gates to this golf course, Trump International Golf Course in Palm Beach, are the size of a house. Each one's the size of a house. Gigantic wrought iron with enormous gold emblems on it. Gold paint, whatever it is. To be able to drive onto one of his properties just after the assassination attempt, you wonder really what's going on in this world and in this country right now.
Well, there really is no surprise that there was an attempt on his life because of the vilification that he's been undergoing for the last 7 years now. Was it longer? And to me, when you have when you propagandize tens and tens and tens of millions of people to actually believe that somebody is evil, and you paint him out to be Hitler, and you paint him out to be a threat to democracy, well, then out of tens of millions of people, somebody's going to say, well, maybe I should do something good for my country and take him out. And we were talking about this months and months and months ago as well. And they really need to back off. But you know something, Bill? They really haven't changed the rhetoric that much. The memes are still calling them out. They're still comparing it to Hitler. They really haven't changed their tone one bit. And I put out a little video saying that, look, for all of you, I got some advice for you. So we're just trying to help you. But it's in your interest that not one strand of orange hair gets disturbed on his head. Because if harm comes to Trump again, Pelosi and all the company, they will all be held accountable by tens and tens of millions of Americans.
Right, legally accountable. So here we go. Now, this is just a teaser. We want Roger to wrap it up now. You got to check out his channel, Roger Holyfield, on YouTube.
Well, you can go to YouTube, I guess, and just look up Roger Holyfield, and the website is joecitizenshow.com.
Policy, policy, policy. Policy, policy, policy. Policy, policy, policy. Policy, policy, policy.